Hey there, this is William from Eastern Trophies Fly Fishing. On this video session we're going to show you how to tie the critter bug curly tail style. It's a curly tail critter bug. Really good fly for smallmouth, for trout. We also tie them really big for musky. So we have these tails available in the medium size, which is for a size number 4 hook. We have them in size 2, which is basically for size 2s and 1s. And then we also have them in the really huge musky size for the musky flies, musky critter bugs, stuff like that. So that's what the fly looks like. We're going to start with a Tiemco 5263. It's a number 4, so we have the medium size curly tail. They come in black, white, yellow, fern, which is the olive color, and black, which we're tying with here. So just going to start the thread on the hook, go back to just above the barb, and we're going to clip that. The tails, we have them made. I've got thousands and thousands of these things. The tail has a long tab. We're going to cut some of that off, so that when we do tie it on the hook, we don't have a lot of extra hanging around. So with the tail, we basically want it to be, the tail itself, we want it to be up away from the bend of the hook, or not from the bend of the hook, but from the hook itself. This just helps with foul ups. It keeps everything in check and clean, and then it also lets the fly run a little bit better when it's in the water, because it'll kick the fly up away from where the weight is going to be, because we're going to put dumbbell eyes on this. So basically we just wrap the tail in. Okay, you can kind of see the movement that you're going to get in the water. These things really work well. The movement is pretty cool. So from there we're just going to put on some chenille in black. We're just going to wrap that in. From there I am going to put on my first set of legs. Now these are round rubber legs, but they're large, as opposed to the medium legs, which are, mediums are right here. The large, they just have more, I don't know, they have more of a strength to them, so that you get better movement in the water. What I'm doing here is I just pulled off a set of 3, and I'm going to wrap it in on the side facing me first, and we're going to do about, I don't know, 6 or 7 wraps. So that's facing me right now. From there I'm going to take the 3 and I'm just going to diagonally wrap it right over the top, and they perfectly line up every time. Okay, really good trick to putting legs in. So from there I'm going to move my thread up to the front of the hook, you know, about the front third, and I'm going to do 2 bumps to put my dumbbell eyes in. So there's my first bump, and here's my second bump. Okay, so that's what we got there. I'm going to take a little bit of gel super glue, which has dried over, but some gel super glue here. I'm going to start a new bottle, but that's the gel super glue. We're going to take some dumbbell eyes, okay, and we are going to wrap these in diagonally, about 7 or 8 wraps that way. Okay, so they look like that. And then when we wrap diagonally on, you know, going around the other way, they basically even up. From there, I like to go around the wraps between the dumbbell eyes and the hook, and then I do wraps crisscross again. And that pretty much locks them in. Now from here, what I like to do is go back to behind where the dumbbell eyes are. I take my my thumb or a finger, and I try and get all that excess glue, that super glue that we tied the dumbbell eyes in, okay? And then from there, I'm going to get a set of 3 legs again, and we're going to do the crisscross kind of deal again diagonally with the legs. So this time I'm going to angle them so that they're going towards the front of the fly. Okay, so I'll show you. We're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we put them diagonally and down. Try not to pull them too hard or they come apart sometimes, but these are the medium one, or not the mediums, but the larges. They just got more. They have more strength to them. They're stiffer. So we clip them even. Okay, that's looking good. So from there, we're just going to move the thread between the front legs and the dumbbell eyes. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. Get the chenille out of here so you can see how the legs are. Okay, so you have the legs V'd out like this in the back, and then the other ones are going to be kind of jetting out, you know, in the front like that. Okay, so you have that kind of this action going on. Okay, so with the chenille, we are going to build the body and back of the back legs first. And I've never really used a rotary vise. I've always done it by hand. And as I'm wrapping, you could see the tail was going down. As I wrap that, you know, it's kind of important to keep the tail in check. So we're going to go back and we're going to build the body up a little bit more, because you want it to look natural and substantial. You don't want it to look skinny. You don't want it to be uneven and that kind of thing. So looking good there. So now we go in front of the legs. We're going to build the body in between. I'm just going to go here and build it up a little bit so that we look even and pretty. And from there, we're going to jump in front. Actually, we're going to do 1 or 2 more wraps here in front of these legs. Okay, from there, we're going to go in front of the front legs, but in between the dumbbell eyes. Okay, so we just built it up just like that. From there, we're going to turn our hook over, and we're going to get some black calf tail. Okay, and we're just going to basically trim the top wing, or trim some for the top wing rather. Calf tail is really good for these critter bugs, whether you're tying them curly tail style or you're tying them leech tail style or streamer tail style. Basically all 3 are now going to be on YouTube, so you kind of have your choice as to what kind of bug you want to throw, what kind of bug you want to tie. Kind of gives you options. But right here, okay, we're going to tie that in right above, and I kind of want to, you know, tie a good bunch in to basically hide the hook. You'll see once this gets tied in that it camos it up pretty good, you know, hides it up pretty well. So that super glue on top does a pretty good job, and then from there we're just going to move our thread back behind the hook eye. We're going to take our fly and we're going to turn it over. We're going to wrap crisscross around once, going back, crisscross the other way, go around, and then we're going to build basically the nose of the fly up so that it has a shape to it, and then from there we're just going to kind of just build the eye of the fly. We're almost done. So right now I'm just doing whip finishes. I've said this on my videos before that, you know, the flies that I tie for trips, I really don't like to use head cement. So what I do is I do about about 3 or 4 whip finishes. On the musky flies, I do about 4 or 5. Just kind of gives you extra insurance, but I also feel that, you know, when a fly is in the water, if it's being fished on the slow side and you've got a freshly tied fly, the fish can smell the head cement. You can kind of smell it sometimes when you open your fly box after you got some freshly tied flies. So that's what the bug looks like, basically with all the legs still together. Right now, when they're still together, I want to even them up. So I kind of run them, do a check to the front, and kind of even them up so that they're in the round, so to speak. And then from here, all I do is just separate them, and you basically got your fly. And I'll show you in a second. I mean, the legs have a really, they're just, you know, they got some strength behind them. So when you're stripping your fly, you know, they naturally come back through the water, but when you stop stripping your fly and you pause the fly, boom, they kind of straighten back out. So you have that kind of cobra action going on. You know, that along with the tail, I mean, that's some good stuff. So basically, that's your finished fly right there. That was a side view, top view, okay. And these things are killer for trout and smallmouth. This is basically a trout style tied on a, you know, a smaller Tiemco, you know, 5263, and it's just a really good fly. We tie them in size 2s also, and then, you know, for the bass type of flies, you know, we start going, you know, this style on a wider gapped hook. This is the larger tail. Okay, so that's the larger tail compared to the smaller tail. Okay, so size 2 is on the bigger side, size 4 is on the smaller size, or smaller side, and they're available on our website in black, white, yellow, Fern, which is the olive and matches the chenille, and then yellow. So you got options all across the board, and you also have musky size. So this is the curly tail critter bug, CK baitfish fly, or CK or Chuck Kraft fly. He's just an awesome fella. Came up with a lot of good patterns like the CK baitfish, but this is his curly tail critter bug from Chuck Kraft. Tight lines.